financial mistake which I bought about a week ago now. It didn't have an MOT on it. It was 450 quid. It cost me 40 and it flew straight through its MOT, which I'm not exactly used to. Well, except for with the 75, but the coupes are an absolute disaster. So I want to just show you every feature of this magnificently adorable car, because I personally think it's very cute. This car isn't aggressive at all in any shape or form. When I was younger, I didn't want this one. I wanted the TF because it looked a bit more aggressive. But hey, times have changed. I've turned into a spineless twat, and I really like cute things now because I'm no longer a mess of masculinity. So if we just have a look at this magnificent thing that I have purchased for £490, that's maths. So, well, in fact I paid less actually because I got a discount of 20 quid. But anyway, she's absolutely adorable. She's low mileage, exactly what I've always wanted in terms of a collectible car. It's not very collectible at the moment because obviously no one cares about them because it's shit British Roadster that's based off a Metro that has a really crap engine that always goes wrong, and its build quality is really not exactly the best, and it isn't. You'd rather have a Z3 or a Z4, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I know I would, but hey, I'm too poor to afford that, so I bought this shit instead. So if you just come and have a look at all of these amazing little things that I sort of found out about the car when I first bought it. It had some amazing looking Jaguar badges. Apparently the guy was a big Jaguar fan. Yeah, I mean it's an MG. I wanted a car with discs all around at least, because you know it's a convertible, it's a sports car. It needs to feel a bit sporty. So it's got discs all around, all four corners of discs, because I ain't about those drum brakes, I ain't poor. Yeah, it's in really good condition. I really like it. There is a few little things which I'm just going to take you through in a moment about its general condition, which is quite questionable. It is a genuine 58,000 mile car. I'm pretty damn sure of it. The MOT says that. Please don't question that or it will make me regret my purchase. But it's a great car nonetheless, and I really like it. I love driving around it, but there are a few things that annoy me, like the adorable build quality. That sounds like that. I mean, I'm used to the 75 that I've got and the Mercedes that I used to have, where the doors would thunk like a bank vault, but this thunks like a tiny tots car, like a playhouse. Hey, I mean, you're certainly not going to get any girls in this car. It is about as sexy as a piece of scaffolding. It's really just not. There is no appeal to it. Well, to me as a male, there is appeal to it, but I don't think any girls would like me anymore because of this, because it's just not very good car. But anyway, if we just have a look at the wonderful state of this car, really. It's got an X-Power exhaust on it, which I'll include a clip of. It's by Jan Speed. It actually sounds really nice. It's not even hot, because you know it's fake, and then there's like the owl bit inside, the hot bit. However, in general, it sounds pretty nice. It sounds better than the normal one, which just sounds like a hairdryer, to be honest with you. Oh, it's a hairdresser's car. Yeah, I know, look at my fucking hair. Other than that, though, it's pretty good. If I just show you the wonderful space in the boot, which is always, of course, populated by emergency coolant. Please don't tell me that's the wrong one. It's got all my car cleaning supplies in it that I have for this car. You know, some wonderful teacup, because it is as old as me. I mean, if there was teacup that came in my skin colour, I would totally use that, because I'm quite a mess as well. Other than that, there's not much. Oh, we've got this as well. And we've got the original license plate. I'm not going to show you that though. Other than that, I think the space to actually work on the car and do general like tasks such as filling up the coolant is pretty good. Everyone usually complains about the access, but I mean it's a flipping door. Dude, come on, your car doesn't have a door. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to end up like that guy in Lad Bible with the BMW. There is no. I did check this after paying a deposit. There is no gunk. There is no K-Series Mayo on the cap. Wonderful smell, of course. There's none of that. And before someone tells me that I've got to check somewhere else, please don't, or I'll cry. I'm always a bit worried about the engine itself, because I'm pretty illiterate when it comes to mechanical things, and yeah, I don't think I can barely walk on a normal car. So if this thing went wrong, I ain't doing anything. But I mean, there was supposed to be an air filter. Get open. Oh my god, I'm taking it off. So, I'm not sure if that's an original air filter. It doesn't look like it. It's pretty clean though. I mean, this car only did about 800 miles every test for the past, I think, about 6 years. So, H is pretty good. I can see I think it's a drive shaft down there. There's like the boot's fine. Everything's fine. It is a really sorted car. I think that's the ECU there, you know. It's not in a very good place considering water comes through here when it rains and goes directly down here. Now we're going to open the front boot, or the front, as we... Thank you, Elon Musk. So the front boot is not really a boot at all. As much as everyone's like, I bought it because it's got a mid-engine and that means that I've got loads more space and put my shopping in the front. No, you can't. There's a spare wheel there. Stop kidding yourself. You bought this car because you're weird. So you've got your spare wheel. You've got another battery because you're too poor to afford ABS, which I found out on the way here thanks to a squirrel. You've got your other battery here. You've got your brake fluid. Your washer fluid peculiarly is here. I don't know what that fluid's for, but hey. You've got your horns, and you've got your lovely Rover Group, your lovely VIN plate, which my paint code is ham, believe it or not, of all things. With it being a green car, ham is a great appropriate paint code to have. So we're going to move on to the interior, and I'll show you more about that. So the reason why I did actually buy this car is not because of the fact it's a convertible, it's because of the heritage and the fact it is an MG. It's the successor to the MGB. Yeah, the suspension is not the same. It's hydrogas, which I actually prefer over, for example, the MX-5 that we had. The MX-5 did kind of look like a ghost train from the front, but it didn't handle like one, obviously. It was immense at handling. But this, now that it's got the suspension gassed up, is absolutely insane, and it handles like nothing I've ever driven before. I really do love it to death. And the problem with most people's perception on this car, especially the F anyway, is that people don't gas the suspension up. So they get the car, it's really low, and it looks low and aggressive. Yeah, but it handles like really terrible, unless you've got a spring conversion on it. But no, I really like it. And one of the main features of the interior I like is this really great steering wheel, which actually feels like quality. From my perception of steering wheels in the past on older cars, for example, an old friend of mine's Citroen Saxo, it felt like I was literally holding a piece of like a twig in terms of the build quality. But this is nice, it's chunky, and it's just great. I mean, everything is just, the dash is nice, it's pretty soft touch, I guess, for the time. I mean, it's sort of gone out a bit. And another thing I really love is that MG badge right there, especially when you're driving, because of course I bought this car for what it is. I like to look at that MG badge and go, you know what, that's some good stuff. And hey, you know, I bought this car for the nostalgia. I bought it because I saw it in a council estate when I was a child, and I loved that. And I loved that time in my life of being a kid and seeing all these interesting cars like the MGF, like the Tomcat Rovers, like the old Imprezas, like the old Evos, like the Toyota. Right, so now what you actually bought the car for, which is driving it, it's pretty damn good around country lanes, as it damn well should be, because I mean it's a British sports car. That's why I bought it. That's why you've bought it, or you're gonna buy it. It feels a bit more confident than the MX-5, especially around tighter turns. Mainly because the front anticipates the rear, you know, when you go over a bump, because it's hydrogas and it's linked. Anyway, you read about that on Wikipedia. I'm not here to read a Wikipedia article to you. I just feel like it's more confident around corners, more than the MX-5. The MX-5's front is a bit longer, so it does feel like you're driving a ghost train, especially with the lights up. I do love MX-5s though, don't get me wrong. Other than that though, in Sheffield, around the streets, especially when the road's a bit rough, it's very questionable. And it's borderline undrivable when you don't have your suspension gassed up. I know, I'm sorry, but unfortunately it is. With me, when I had it, when it wasn't gassed up. Shout out Glenn. It's just, it was pretty bad. Used to always destroy my life every time I went over like a crisp packet on the road or some form of litter. So no, it feels really confident around the corners anyway. I personally love taking it to the Peak District. You have the top down, you put your aux on, and it's terrible volume, and you can't hear it because of the wind noise, and it's perfect. But especially when you have the roof up in the when you're driving around a town or a city or anywhere, it does kind of turn into a bit of a hatchback with a bit of a big rear end. I don't think it really cuts it as a city car. I mean, for example, the thing I benchmark every city car against is a Fiat 500, which is the best city car you've never driven. More about that. But no, it doesn't really cut it as a city car to me. Steering's a bit cumbersome. I'm not sure if I think it's hydraulic steering. It is power assisted obviously, but it's not electric power steering like a Fiat 500. But no, around the city, it doesn't really cut it. It's not an everyday car, for me at least. I mean, if you can do it, hey, rep it, but I personally couldn't do it. I've tried it, but I failed, and I went back to my comfortable 75. So in summary, if I was to have to rate this car with 3 things I like and 3 things I hate, I would say the 3 things I like are the dynamite ass styling that calls back to the MGB and other legendary ass MGs, the heritage of the car, which of course it's an MG and it's a Roadster, just the general formula of the car, and the third thing would definitely be that dynamite suspension, which I absolutely love, and I don't get why people say it's wallowy. The 3 things I'd say I hate about the car is probably the plastics and the build quality and the fact that was glued on, and the fact that these never get closed properly. I know that's kind of an owner nitpick, but I mean, they wear out really fast. I mean, it's 22 years old, so whatever. And the third thing I hate, which you probably noticed in one of the other clips, is the fact that there's no boot release in the cabin, and the fact that I locked the keys in the boot and there is only a cable that runs past the driver's seat to open the front boot rather than the rear. There is no emergency, and I get that it's for security, but I locked my keys in my boot. I feel like a penis. It's not my fault. I was carried away. Green flag couldn't help me. AA couldn't really help me. Only myself, survival, and 2 really cool ass people could help me. So shout out, you know who you are. That's about it. If you want to see any more of this stuff, well, you're gonna have to, because I'm posting it every week. And if you don't want to see more of this stuff, you know where to go. But unfortunately, some clickbait's coming, so you will definitely have to see it. Thanks for watching, and keep watching.